Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something you probably see every single day, but maybe never really think about: the sleeve. Yeah, we're talking about one of fashion's most creative and surprisingly technical elements.
Okay, let's just dive right in. I mean, look at these. You've got everything from a basic t-shirt sleeve to these wild sculptural shapes. They look totally different, right? But they all do the exact same thing: cover your arm. So how? How does one simple idea lead to such a huge variety of styles?
Well, the secret is that it's so much more than just a piece of fabric. Every sleeve is basically a little piece of soft architecture, and it's engineered with some serious precision. And what we're going to do is show you how every sleeve you have ever put on starts from the very same secret blueprint.
So, how did designers even start to build this blueprint? It all begins with something called a foundational pattern. In the fashion world, they call it a sleeve block, or if you want to get technical, a sloper.
Think of this sloper kind of like the chassis of a car. It's that standard, perfectly fitted structure that you can then take and modify to create just about anything. A sleek sports car, a rugged SUV, you name it. This flat pattern, this is the ground zero for every style you can imagine.
So, where does this blueprint even come from? Well, it starts with us, with the human body. The pattern is basically a map of the arm it's meant to fit. It's built from really specific measurements, like your arm length, the width of your bicep, and the curve where your arm joins your shoulder. That's called the arm side. It's all about making sure it connects perfectly to the rest of the garment. And this is where it gets really cool. This is where anatomy literally turns into geometry. All those body measurements get plotted onto paper, and that creates the key lines and curves. You've got the sleeve cap up top, the underarm seam, and the hem, and what you get is this shape. It looks simple, but it's the blueprint for a perfect fit. Okay, so we've got our blueprint. Now comes the real magic. This is where we get to see how designers take this one simple shape and just manipulate it to get an almost endless variety of styles. It's this awesome mix of art and, honestly, physics. Which brings us right back to that big question we started with. How can this one flat pattern become both a super slim, tailored sleeve for a jacket and a big, dramatic, puffy sleeve? Well, the answer is all about changing just a couple of key things, and the results? They're pretty incredible. Okay, now check this out, because what you're seeing here is a direct trade-off between how a sleeve fits and how much you can move in it. On the left, you've got a taller, narrower sleeve cap. That's what gives you a really sharp, tailored fit that sits nice and close to the shoulder. The catch? You can't raise your arm as high. But on the other hand, if you make that sleeve cap shorter and wider, you get a much looser fit with more fabric under the arm, and that gives you a way bigger range of motion. And that's exactly why you see this kind of shape in t-shirts, sportswear, anything where you need to move freely. All right, so that explains fit, but what about volume? For all those puffs and gathers? For that, designers use this totally brilliant and actually pretty simple technique called slash and spread. You literally take the basic pattern, slash it into strips, and then spread them apart. All that empty space you create between the pieces, that's where you get the extra fabric that you can then gather up to create all that fullness. And once you understand those two simple rules, adjusting the sleeve cap for fit and movement, and adding volume with slash and spread, well, you've basically unlocked an entire universe of creative possibilities. Let's look at a few. So here, with the bell sleeve, it's a super simple change. You just slash and spread the pattern at the hem, at the bottom. The top part, the sleeve cap, stays nice and fitted to the shoulder, but all that new volume goes right to the wrist. So elegant. And remember that slash and spread method we were just talking about? Here's what it looks like in action. You spread those pieces out evenly, top to bottom. That adds volume at the shoulder and at the hem, which you then gather up to get that classic puff sleeve. So what happens when you take that same idea and just push it to the extreme? You add a ton of volume, but only at the shoulder, while you keep the forearm super slim. And boom, you get the dramatic leg of mutton sleeve. It was huge in historical fashion, and it's totally making a comeback. And of course, you can mix and match all these techniques. I mean, look at this incredible wedding gown sleeve. It uses multiple pattern pieces. Some are slashed and spread to create all that volume, while other parts are kept slim and tailored. It's all pieced together to create this one stunning, complex design. So what does all this really mean when you're just looking at the clothes in your own closet? Why does this hidden architecture even matter? It means that every single sleeve tells a story.
It's a story about function, fashion, and form. Whether that sleeve was designed to help you throw a baseball or command a boardroom or walk down the aisle, its purpose is literally engineered into its shape. And it all started from that one elegant blueprint.
So the next time you get dressed, just take a closer look. That seam on your shoulder, it's way more than just a seam. It's the spot where this masterful piece of engineering connects to your clothes. And now that you know the secret of the blueprint, what kind of unseen architecture are you gonna find?